Tyler Gentry's with us this morning. Good morning, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Good to have you on, man. I kind of gave your bio there, but coming out of high school, not drafted, and the decision, I don't know what all your options were, but going to Walter State for a year, boy, that really worked out well. You guys had a great team. Went to the Junior College World Series. You put together an awesome season, and that led you to Alabama. Just take us back in time, the thought process coming out of high school, and what your options were and how you wound up at Walter State.
I wasn't recruited very heavily coming out of high school, and, there are a lot of, sometimes the negative stigma surrounding junior college baseball and stuff, but I had a former teammate that was there that, told me he loved it and be a great place for me, and the coach seemed to really believe that it was a great place that would lead to opportunities in my future. And so when I decided to go there, it was definitely hard. It's definitely a growing up process going to junior college, but I'd recommend it to anyone because it was also just some of the most fun I've ever had playing baseball and getting to meet new people.
And that led you to Alabama. And, man, you didn't take much time making the adjustment and putting together a great season in 2019. And then I know with Coach Bo and what he was putting together, you guys were pumped for 2020 and off to an unbelievable start. One loss, just about ready to start SEC play that weekend against Missouri, and it all got taken away. Man, I know that was painful. What was that like to know that you're on a team that after years of Alabama struggling had a chance to do something special, and then it's just gone? And like I said, in the snap of a fingers. How did you handle that?
It was obviously really disappointing, and it was probably one of the most just painful moments of my life when Coach Bo told us that they just canceled the season, because we almost kind of expected to get off to a really good start. 16-1 might have been a little better than even we were expecting, but we were more excited for really what we thought we were going to do later in the season,
right,
and especially in the postseason. So, getting off to that good start and then being told that, it wasn't even really going to matter, it was really painful. We were all really disappointed, but I'm sure those guys next year are going to get right back after it and, start taking Alabama to new heights.
It'll always be what could have been, what might have been, and we'll never know, obviously. And for the players that come back, they've got a chance, as you said, to pick back up. But this season, this 2020 season, is gone. That team will never be orchestrated the same as it was. And as I said, you had not played an SEC game. You were about to get into that schedule against Missouri that weekend when the plug was pulled. But what do you feel like? You said looking down the road, 16-1, but as you said, you expected to get off to a good start against that schedule. But what do you honestly feel like you guys could have done in the Southeastern Conference against those teams? Is this the team, in your opinion, that would have gotten Alabama back into a regional and possibly even made a run at the World Series? How good do you think that team would have been?
Coach Bo told us from the beginning of the season our goal was to make a regional and, to get, at the very least, get Alabama back into the SEC tournament. And I really felt like we were going to do that this year. We had the talent, we had the attitude to get it done, and I definitely think we were going to make a regional. And if we really could just, in postseason baseball, that the talent doesn't really matter as much as just who has the momentum and who gets hot at the right time. So who knows what could have happened if we would have made the regional, which I felt like we would have done.
I do too. That team was, they just had that look. Visiting with Tyler Gentry, former Alabama outfielder, now in the Kansas City Royals organization. We're going to talk about his move into professional baseball in just a moment. Sticking with Alabama, though, when you came to Alabama, you knew that the program was rebuilding. You knew that it had been through some tough times, but you're starting to turn the corner. Great facility there. The new Sewell Thomas is a beautiful stadium. The right field Ragers are bringing it every game. It really did feel like the quality of baseball is one thing, but it really did feel like the tide was turning, pardon the pun, in regards to the fan support and the excitement from the student body, that you guys had kind of gotten that back. Did you sense that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. All you have to do really is, I've told people this, just look at what the program was when Coach Bo first got the job there, and now look what it is. And just, Alabama's not only just a respected team, but like a team to be reckoned with, and not only in the SEC, but across the country. And it's only going to get better. The recruiting classes are still strong, and the talent that we had this past season was young and strong, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do in the future.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that you'll keep a close tab on those guys. They're your friends and former teammates. Unlike coming out of high school, though, Tyler, you knew that this year you were going to be drafted, and you knew you were going to have an opportunity to play professional baseball. As we've stated, you would have liked if this season continued through, but you kind of went pretty much where you were slotted. I had been reading the draft previews, and you went third round, 76th overall by the Royals. You've already signed. Update us. Of course, we know the situation with Major League Baseball and no minor league baseball being played at all. Tell us how, after the draft, the signing came together and what you're doing now in preparation for your professional baseball career.
Well, yeah, I mean, we pretty much knew what I was going to sign for right when they selected me, like when my agent was texting me, like how much they were wanting to sign me for with that pick, and I said yes. And what was the other question about minor league baseball?
Yeah, just with no minor league baseball right now, what are you doing? How is this working with you being in the Royals organization? I know you went up there and got acclimated and all that, but what's the plan right now with no minor league baseball?
Well, yeah, I mean, really just what I've been doing the past 3 months or however long it feels like it's been a year, how long this quarantine's been, and really just trying to stay in as good a shape as possible, just lifting about 3 times a week, hitting about 3 times a week, and now that I've gotten connected with a few people in the Royals organization, they're going to be sending me different lifts I need to be doing, what I need to be improving on, and talking with the hitting guys, what my swing looks like, how it feels, and just different stuff like that.
Coming out of high school, you said you weren't recruited heavily. You went to junior college. This time around, a different story. You got to go earn it. I understand that. But to be a third-round pick, to be number 76 overall, the expectation is that you will one day make it to the major leagues. Now, I know you got to put the work in. But how exciting is that to have this opportunity to know that if you do what you're supposed to do, the plan for a third-round pick, number 76 overall, is to make it to the big leagues, I would say maybe within 3 years or so. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously incredibly exciting, especially, I mean, it's, a childhood dream for pretty much any kid growing up playing baseball, loving baseball. And so to have it, kind of within arm's reach is really exciting, and a real, like you said, not recruited highly out of high school and like that. I've always felt like I've been overlooked my whole life, and that's been like a real chip on my shoulder the whole way. And so it was really nice to finally get a little recognition when the draft finally came around. And but I'm still going to have that chip on my shoulder in the minor leagues. And like you said, now that I can see, the final goal of getting to the big leagues is right there, that's going to be a real driving force for me too.
You said the Royals have put you in touch with some people, and you're having to do what you've been doing, which is just work out, which I know is not the same as live baseball. What have they told you, Kansas City? What's Kansas City told you about next year? Is the expectation that for 2021 everything will be back to normal and you'll be assigned to a minor league club and you'll get your professional career underway, or maybe even during the winter? What have they told you in regards to the future?
I mean, we asked them a bunch of times during orientation about, like when we're going to play again and stuff, and they just had to keep telling us they didn't know, because I mean, I really don't think anyone knows what's that yet. It took them so long to get Major League Baseball going again. I think they're not going to have to wait until that gets going before they can figure out when minor league ball is going to get underway. But I'm really hoping there can be some sort of fall league played, and if not, at the very least, hopefully there's going to be spring training played for us minor leaguers, and then a season next year.
You say you're trying to stay in shape, and I know you're trying to hit and you're trying to throw and you're trying to do all those things, but how much rust, and for all you guys, not just you, it's the same for everybody in minor league baseball, how much rust do you think there will be once you're playing live baseball again? I mean, this is going to have to be the biggest challenge of your career. You've probably never gone this since you've been playing baseball. I bet you've never gone this long without playing baseball in your life.
Well, actually, I played multiple sports growing up and played baseball and basketball in high school. So I think that might have been a big reason why I improved so much in college, is because it was my first time actually getting to play baseball year round. Because in high school I'd go several months without even picking up a bat or a ball when it's basketball season. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a little bit of rust, a little bit of a growing period once we finally do get back on the field.
Yeah, I've been told you were actually a pretty good basketball player because I reached out to a friend of mine up there in the Memphis area to get some contact information on you, and he told me you were a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah, I like to think I was. I was probably really, really good in middle school, and then high school got along. And like I said, playing multiple sports, all these other kids are playing basketball year-round, and they finally really started to surpass me in high school, and I turned into more of a role player. But I enjoyed basketball as much as I enjoyed baseball. I just wasn't quite as good at it.
That athleticism, though, that you develop playing basketball, because it's such an athletic sport, help you as a baseball player, you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it does. And, a lot of kids these days are told to focus on one sport early, and I'm a big advocate of playing multiple sports because it kind of, helps keep you from getting burned out from the one sport, first of all, and then it also just helps develop parts of your game in other sports. Like, I feel like basketball really helped me defensively in the outfield, which is having like quick feet from like having to play defense in basketball, and leaping ability to make some of the catches out there, and just, especially in basketball, not being by far like the most talented person on the field or on the court. Once I got to the higher levels of baseball, I had to learn, I'm not by far the most talented person out here. I have to, really be mentally focused to win, and I really feel like I learned that from basketball.
Wrapping up with former Alabama baseball outfielder Tyler Gentry, now a member of the Kansas City Royals organization. Reading the scouting reports, watching you play at Alabama for a season and a half. I mean, you can run, you can throw, as you said, you can play defensively in the outfielder as an outfielder. Do you think of yourself as a 5-tool guy? Do you think of yourself as a guy maybe that can steal 15, 20 bases a year and bring the power, hit over 20 home runs, hit for average? I mean, do you see yourself as that kind of guy?
Yeah, I've always kind of viewed myself and prided myself on that. That's something I've never wanted to have a hole in my game. I've never wanted anyone to talk about me and then have that, but you can't do this and this. And so I take pride in everything I do, especially defensively. Coach Zuli really helped me at Alabama to learn to take more pride on defense and things I can work on to get better. And I feel like I really got better at defense throughout college.
Lastly, you mentioned Coach Zuli. We've talked a little bit about Coach Bo, but in wrapping it up, coming to play for those guys, and I mean, I'm just so impressed with Coach Bo and what he's putting together here at Alabama. That experience, what was it like, and how much did you develop as a baseball player under those guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're the best. It's hard for me to imagine a much better coaching staff in college baseball in the country. I'm sure there's some other great ones out there, but just these guys they bring it every day. They bring intensity, they bring fun, and they really just bring the will to win every day. And it's hard not to get better when you're there. You really got to, if you're just doing everything that you're told and really, buying into the mentality and the program, you're going to get better, and they're going to win a lot of games in the future.
And last question, as a baseball fan, outside of being just a player, how pumped and excited are you for Major League Baseball, this 60-game sprint to the playoffs that's going to begin late next month?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Obviously, it's we're all kind of starving for sports right now, and so it's going to be really cool when your fans are not seeing those guys get back out there and seeing the best in the world play.
Well, Tyler, man, I've enjoyed it. I appreciate the time. Looking forward to following your career through the Royals organization, and like all Alabama fans, hoping that you make it to the big leagues pretty quickly. Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.